Have you ever felt you don't know / have forgotten who you really are? That you've spent years just adapting to surroundings to make life easier and don't know what's the real you anymore? If so, how did you overcome this? There's probably no real you that exists across time. That's just a thing you built up when you were younger to give yourself a stable identity and core values. The you now is just as real as the you then. We all adapt to our surroundings and change to make our lives easier. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you're unhappy with your life now, you can adapt by changing. You need to believe that, and you probably know it, since it seems to be something you're afraid of. But this is the real you now, and you need to focus on the needs of that person, not some idealized phantom from the past. This is exactly what I needed to hear. Live alone. It forces you to decide what you like to eat, how you want to eat, how you spend your downtime. It forces you to define who you are. Sometimes that's a fast food eating couch potato, but eventually that gets boring. Then is when you begin experimenting with other things, cooking, going out, asking yourself, what do I want to do? When you learn who you are, you become confident. What happens if you never get bored of the fast food eating couch potato? Then that's either who you are, or you should get some therapy to figure out why you're in a rut and how to get out of it. I always see it as outgrowing my former self. It's time to improve, find purpose, and move into the next chapter. This often happens once I finish a major step in life, like graduating college, getting my first job, buying and improving my house to my satisfaction, etc. Once I put life on potential autopilot to all the things I thought I needed. I need something else to be a mission/journey. I couldn't agree more with your sentiment. When you get to a point of maturity in life, where you can actually step outside yourself and view yourself and who you are based on the sum of influences you had on your life up to that point, you can begin to take control of your own narrative, free yourself from the bonds of the you defined by those prior experiences, and shape yourself into the person you want to become. That's the real you. These two comments read like guides to be more adaptive and to not be afraid of change. Might not be the answer you're looking for. It seems that when I'm alone with my thoughts at night, I can't help but come back to who I am, no matter what facade I put on during the day. This keeps me from forgetting for weeks at a time, let alone years, and I think it is actually a healthy habit, so that I don't lose touch with myself. If the real me is when I'm alone with my thoughts at night, I'm ducked. I'm in this comment and I don't like it. IDK. At night I just pretend I'm a time traveler and relive all the bullying incidents that happened in the past and fight them all, but this time with me having the ability to slow/freeze time. Best advice I have is this: when we experience things, we make maps of what happened. We all have maps of our time in school, how people treat us, all of our experiences. We also make maps about other people. We make assumptions about others based on what we see or hear. We get maps from others about us too, especially friends and parents. What they tell us we are, what we think they see when they look at us, what we think they think about us, etc. People tend to focus on maps and label themselves, pigeonhole themselves into roles and what they think they should do, feel, or be based on the maps that they have. You are not a map. You are a 3D terrain of whatever beautiful biome you want to be. Don't stare at a map all day and forget to look up at what it really is. I immigrated to the States from Europe and got lost. Now my memories of my life in Germany are fading, but I remember being so much happier with my job and hobbies and friends and only crying once or twice a year when something really sad happened. Well, now I cry once a week. I'm thinking about going back. Thanks for sharing this. It's stupid, but I feel better knowing that I'm not the only one. I too moved to the States from Asia for a better life, they say. I don't remember much, but I remember that I was happy. I have a big community of friends and family. I don't remember having a meal by myself there. I can't even imagine it. Now, if I'm lucky, I have dinner with my friends once a week. Not their fault, they are just busy with their own family now. Stop trying to please others and be who you are. Being who I'm displeases others. You're a secret gigolo, aren't you? Magnets. I majored in film in college, and it wasn't until my senior year that I realized I hated the work culture of the industry and didn't want to do it. Film had been my whole life, since I was like 13, and I had kind of an existential crisis. I ended up finishing the degree I didn't want because I was so close. I ended up moving 1,000 miles away after graduation. I have a job I love, which gives amazing benefits, and they will even completely pay for me to go back to school if I want. So I might try that soon. Was supposed to be a mechanic, but dad wanted a college graduate, so graphic design / advertising it was. God, I hate this life. I've stuck with it, but I dread every day, and it's too late to turn around. I'd run out of gas before the next exit. The cool thing about being a mechanic is that there really isn't any knowledge that is a secret within the industry. You just start working on stuff, and you learn through experience. Start reading into existentialism. It will help you realize we are never really this person or that person, but rather, in the words of Sartre, we are always in the process of becoming. This helps do away with the bad faith in finding myself, which so many of us feel we need to do, when in reality we always are in that process. So feeling lost is a state that will always come and go throughout life, just as much as feeling found or grounded will come and go. I did realize it, and it's just life changes you. As you get older, experience new things, get new stresses or responsibility, you kind of lose who you were and become someone new. Certain aspects change, but some things don't. The only part that is a bit, I guess, unsettling or empty is things that brought you so much joy you just find you don't care about anymore. It's harrowing, yes, but I just look forward to learning new things and seeing who I become. Example, I took up fishing. I have crippling OCD and the mere concept of it was off-putting to me, but now I love it. Took me over 30 years to try it, and now it's just part of who I'm now. To be quite frank, I'm not sure I've ever known who I was. Something always seems to be missing from my programming. Some part of the code is blank. I haven't found the correct formula, if you will, to patch it. I have spent my whole life simply adapting to everything that was thrown at me. I won't go into the gory and twisted part of my life. Those details may be saved for a later date and a more on-topic question, but my life has never failed to throw gut-wrenching curveballs towards me. I cope with what I have been given, floating around in a seemingly empty shell. As for the reality part, I have no idea what is real or not. This all feels so simulated. Life feels like nothing but a sandbox simulation to me. No matter how many nights I wake up screaming and gasping for air, no matter how much pain I feel, no matter how happy and in love I may be, it all feels like a sick and melancholic game. I'm not real to myself anymore. My life is no longer real. I already struggle with numerous mental illnesses, so my lines between reality and fantasy are already blurred much more drastically than the average person's, thus making my time with it even more difficult. I haven't found an off button yet. I haven't found even the simplest of controls. The pause button is erased and everything, the volume, the frame rate, absolutely everything is up to the most unrealistic level. My life feels like a surreal sandbox game, and I can't get out of it. Chilling, really. Lots and lots of self-reflection. Ask yourself why you do everything. Look at your friends and ask yourself why you spend time with them. If you only get this feeling at work / school, maybe it's time to look for new work or focus on different studies. Maybe even change your major. If you still can't figure it out, look into the benefits of LSD/acid and see if you feel comfortable taking some. A moderate dose for a newbie can cause something called ego death. Basically, for 6 to 12 hours you lose your sense of self and act without consulting your personality. Unless you have any pre-existing mental conditions, acid is relatively safe, as long as you trip in a safe environment. I'm not telling you acid will solve your problems, but maybe once a year I do a relatively large dose of acid alone and focus on myself. This has helped me quit smoking, pull myself out of deep depressions for months at a time, and generally gives you a fresh outlook on how your life is going. Yes, and I think this is the case with most people. Actually, I doubt some people even truly know what their favorite colors are. One way to overcome this, not that I recommend this, is to descend into some kind of personal crisis in which your entire life comes unglued. That forces you to reckon with a strip down undisguised, unpretentious version of yourself. It's an ugly process, but it's helpful in the end. I've actually felt like my younger self didn't know who I was. I was shy AF, still am at bars, and in terms of dating, but never want to try and be outgoing with friends or start conversations or anything. Now I've danced in front of hundreds of people and announced on a microphone. I check dozens of people in at a hotel a day, so I'm always talking to someone new and do my best to make everyone smile. Just start caring about making yourself laugh instead of making others think you're cool or whatever. Don't be afraid to let out your inner dread wolf, my friend.